It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire. Our mission is to empower. And our mission really is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Dr. Wendy Labat. She's in the building. She's going to be talking about how you can stop hemorrhaging money. Sounds kind of interesting. We'll figure that out. What's going on, Dr. Wendy? How you doing?
Excuse me. I said I was going to try not to cough, but I'm doing fine. I'm just now getting over, not totally over the flu, but I'm functioning now. So I'm doing good.
Well, I'm glad you're doing good. Thanks for taking time with our audience. You could be in the bed right now, cuddled up with some medicine and relaxing, but you're taking time for our audience, and we appreciate you being here. And we appreciate you, the audience, for tuning in as well and allowing us to stream into your home, especially during these remarkable times that we're living in right now. So thank you as well. You know, when they see the title, which is, how to stop hemorrhaging money, and they'll read your bio later, I'm sure, and they'll get around to Googling you and all that. But I'm curious, from your view of the world, why are folks struggling to not only be financially free, but to overcome money challenges when the information's been around for so long?
Well, because sometimes you get in that comfort zone, and the fact is our economy is rough right now. We haven't even felt the brunt of it. They're talking about all these tariffs, and they're talking about the price of eggs and bacon and all groceries. We haven't even begun to see the increase in prices. And people, they forget about the basics. They forget about just basic financial principles. And, if you got that paycheck coming in and you think you can just go and buy whatever you want, you probably can, but it's not always the best thing to do. And people forget that until, they're spending more than they make.
Spending more than they make. I like that. I'd like to hear that. Let's talk to two folks first, and then we'll get into your background and your backstory. Let's first talk to the person that's listening and saying, hey, Dr. Wendy, you hit the nail right there. Maybe they've recently been laid off. Okay. Maybe they've gone through a health challenge. It's allowed them not to be working right now. And it's a loaded question. But what would you say to the person that's been laid off or is experiencing some financial interruptions with their salary? Is there any 1, 2, or 3 suggestions that you give to that person that's listening now?
The first thing is they need a mindset transformation. You got to change your thinking. The way you think when you got a paycheck coming in and the way you think when you don't have a paycheck coming in are two different mindsets. And it's not just about the money. You have to, like I said, have the mindset to achieve where you want to be. You've got to, not underestimate the principles, the basic principles. You don't have to have a doctorate degree in finance, but you do have to plan where your money goes. And that way you don't wonder where it went. You have to, like I said, spend less of what you make. You have to have multiple sources of income. And I think a lot of people learned that during COVID when their job, did downsize or they lost, one salary in the household. You have to, have more money coming in that's passive where whether you work or not, you still got that cash flow coming in. And I think a lot of folks just, they underestimate that.
Said so well. And we'll get into the details, but let's talk about the other side of the group. There are some folks who are like, well, Dr. Wendy, I joined this call because I want to hear how to stop hemorrhaging money, which we're going to get to. But the person listening right now is saying, okay, well, I'm not, unlimited finances, but I'm good for the next 6 months if something happened. If you're in that position, that's amazing. I've got some savings and I got retirement stuff to the side, but I'm also got my eyes on investing or putting my money to make money for me. What does Wendy say to that person while the market's going down? I'm thinking about maybe it's a good time to jump in and start making some pretty cool investments. What would you say to that person? Again, I know you're all different places and different spaces in your life, but I'm just asking her for her perspective.
Well, I would say, you're in your comfort zone right now, but realize that's not where you're going to always be. And it's okay to make investments, while the market is good to buy. you have to make sure you have to make that long-term investment. You don't want to think it's going to be a get rich quick type investment, because those are kind of unrealistic. And if you do, then what are you going to do with that money once you get it? So people have to realize that you may not be struggling as much as some other people are, but still you're paying more for your groceries, you're paying more for gas, you're paying more for everything. So that's still taking a dip, and those funds can be redirected. And I teach people how to increase their income without getting a second job. How to increase to get passive income, because you want to minimize your expenditures as much as possible.
Well said. There's others like myself that are saying, "Hey, I had a chance to look at her bio, Shay. I had a chance to read a little bit about her, but I like to hear in her own words." And the question right now: who is Dr. Wendy Labat? I mean, people are going to find out you're the financial healer and you have these financial cures and all that. But take a moment, if you could, and give us the backstory. Who are you, and what was that defining moment that led you to say, "I want to help other people in this area of finance"?
Well, like I said, I'm known as a financial healer, but I started my entrepreneurial journey over 4 decades ago. I can't believe I'm saying 4 decades. I was only two back then, but I started a company with no business experience and minimal financial resources. And this was a time where, there was no social media, no internet, and the only thing you do with a cell phone was make an expensive call. And my clients at the time were major corporations and government agencies. And in order to be able to be considered for, substantial business or consistent business, you had to project a certain image. And that meant having a brick and mortar, and meant, having employees, because you couldn't have an answer machine answering your calls back then. You had to have inventory and all the overhead that goes with it. And that image was expensive, but if you didn't project that type of image, you were considered as a mom and pop operation not capable of handling their business. So I projected that image, and it was expensive, and I learned, about business. I was a rookie back then, but I learned from the school of hard knocks about cash flow, because I had the sales on the books, but I didn't have the money in the bank. And that's when I realized I was financing my client's business with me, and it was like, that's a no. You don't do that. But like I said, there are a lot of lessons I learned, and some of them were more expensive at the time than others. But here I am over 40 years later, still an entrepreneur, still making money, understanding the game, and empowering other people. But in 2014, when the government mandated that everybody have health insurance, I expanded my business to include insurance and financial services. So I bought all the products and services I was selling my clients, because, they were asking me, where's your money? And what do you have? And I could honestly say where my money was and what I had, and, be truthful about the products I was selling. And in 2017, I was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer. So I'm like, okay, I got a sense of peace that came over me to let me know it wasn't a death sentence, but I also knew that it wasn't going to be an easy journey. So I'm like, okay, breast cancer, you want to be aggressive? I'm going to be aggressive, because I'm kicking your butt. I'm about to conquer you. And sure enough, I did. And I took that aggressive treatment, but that meant chemotherapy every 3 weeks for a year. I had 5 surgeries, CAT scans, PET scans, MRIs, mammograms, lab tests, all kind of drugs to counteract the side effects of the chemo. And I lost all my hair, my brows, my lashes, my nails. I mean, I literally had no fingernails or no toenails. And I don't mean just nubs. I mean, I had nothing. And, my mind took a beating. I had chemo brain. And I'm like, okay, the best thing that came out of that part of the experience is I saved a fortune on salon, and manicures and pedicures and that kind of stuff. But, looking back, I said, okay, that treatment was almost about $1.5 million in medical bills. But thank God I practiced what I preach, because my health insurance paid all that. And because I bought all those other, supplemental products that I never even thought I would use, it was just part of my business strategy. I ended up getting multiple six-figure tax-free financial shots in the arm that allowed me to focus on my recovery and not worry about money. Because I don't know if you can imagine having all those kind of medical expenses, $1.5 million, plus your business and personal expenses, all while battling breast cancer. It could have ruined me financially, but thank God I'm okay with that. And then I said, okay, Lord, after I rang that bell after that last chemo treatment, and my doctor told me that I was cancer free, I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm in my comfort zone, I am good. And he's like, you think I brought you out better on the other side of this journey for you to stay in your comfort zone? He said, no, you're going on a crusade to empower others to not let an illness or injury ruin them financially, teach people how to, take control of their finances, acquire the proper protection, just build a financial legacy, create generational wealth, become debt free, and live the life they desire. So that's what I'm on my crusade. I've been charged with that crusade. So that's how I really got into that.
Ah, man, thanks for being so authentic. Thanks for being so transparent, and congratulations. I mean, you're in a
Thank
position where you can serve others at a much higher level, number one. And number two, you've been there. And
you. Yeah.
that speaks volumes for the type of person that you are, practicing what you preach. Folks are probably leaning forward saying, Shay, does she have 6 steps to stop the money from hemorrhaging? Because I like what I'm hearing. But I want to take notes. I want to lean in. Well, okay, I don't know if she has 5, 6, or 7, but I know she put 6 down. So let me slow down and then say, hey, what are the 6 money stopping hemorrhaging ideas that you would like to share with us, the audience, and all of us lean in. We can always get better, and this is amazing.
Okay, well, get your pens and paper out. I'm going to, just briefly describe each step. The first one is mindset transformation. You have to change the way you look at things. Wayne Dyer says if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So when you want to buy something or do something or achieve something, do you say just I can't do that, or do you say how can I do it? Because if you say I can't do it, you're kind of shutting the door, deadbolting it, nailing it shut and everything, and nothing, you're not going to do anything. But if you say, how can I? All kind of windows of opportunity or doors of opportunity open for you, and it's just up to you to choose the ones that's best for you. So that's step number one. And whether you're talking about your finances, weight loss, addictions, whatever, goal achievement, you still have to have that right mindset. And the second thing is taking control of your finances. And that means planning where your money goes instead of wondering where it went. There are a lot of people that, excuse me, that, just get paid or direct deposit or whatever. And then they're like, damn, where did that money go? If they get a bonus or, some extra windfall, if they don't plan where it goes, the next thing you know, they're wondering where it went. So you have to plan where your money goes. Um, the next thing would be acquiring proper protection. My story is the perfect example of why you have to have proper protection, whether it's not just for your health, your life, your assets, your legacy, your children. You got to protect everything and everybody, because that will make a difference. Because that made a big difference in my situation. Because 60% of people that file bankruptcy is because of medical bills, and 80% of them had health insurance. So you have to realize it's not just having insurance, you got to have the right kind. It has to be structured properly. And then the next thing, we're in the middle of tax season. There are people that want to be penny wise and pound foolish and just do tax prep, take all their stuff, drop it off at a tax prep place, and they put in, a data entry person puts the stuff in, and then whatever comes out, that's what they say you get. But you want to use the tax strategy approach, where you're strategizing throughout the year to minimize your tax liability or increase your tax refund. You don't always have to pay a lot of taxes if you strategize correctly. So that's a key thing. And a lot of clients, especially with the healthcare marketplace, folks that get the subsidy. I had one young lady call me today who's a healthcare client, and she wanted to do her own, she did her own taxes, said I had to pay back $1,500 in that subsidy, but she wants to go uninsured excuse me, she's got a new job, and their open enrollment doesn't open until October for her, and she's gonna go uninsured because she had to pay back $1,500. It's like, girl, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't want to go uninsured. I can show you how you can offset that at the end of the year, but she didn't want to hear it. I said, okay, I can't tell you what to do. I'm just advising you. You do what you want to do. But people just don't understand how the tax code works, and they don't understand how it can benefit them if they structure things the right way. And then the next thing is the impact of the global economy on the market, on your retirement, on the pricing, and we know that now, but we learned it even more back during COVID. Nobody was thinking about what was happening overseas until it started hitting them in their pocket, and they started feeling the effects, not just financially, but medically. So you have to understand, you have to factor it in. You may not understand all the ins and outs, but you have to make that a consideration when you're doing your planning. And the most important thing is taking action, because faith without works is dead. You can know everything and all that, but if you don't do anything, what good is it? It's like they say, doing the same thing and expecting different results is insanity. You have to have a strategy, and the one strategy may not last for a year, but you have to monitor it, based on the conditions and the circumstances of your personal finances as well as the whole economy. And those are the 6 steps. So, in a nutshell.
Spot on. I love it, by the way. Thanks so much for sharing
Mm,
that about it. I love it. And it leads me to a question that's a little off topic. And I know y'all taking lots of notes, by the way. And what I like you said is about the mindset.
mm,
My mentor always says the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. That was the best time. But he always says, Shay,
mm,
when's the next best time to plant a tree? And the obvious answer is now. So no matter
mm.
where you are, you can start today and you can move forward. You're doing some good work in the world as well. There's something you have called a Sin Foundation. Take a
Mhm.
moment for the audiences hearing a little bit about that. What's the backstory to that? And why is it so near and dear to your heart?
Well, I started a Sin Foundation, it's a 501c3, and back in, I think it was 2014 or something like that. And I started as a result of dealing with single women as tax clients. I've seen they start out, they want to have this little side hustle. They're working hard, maybe 2 jobs, and they trying to take care of their family, but they got this little side hustle that they don't want to structure properly because they're afraid it's going to keep them from getting some benefits, government benefits. And I'm like, hey, get from under the table, get on the table, bring your own table. And that can work to your advantage. Don't lock yourself in to just, thinking you got to do a hustle on the side. And I've seen there were several, about 3 of my clients. I'm so proud of them because they went from struggling, living in the projects, working 2 jobs, having a little hustle, went to buying their own home, paying off their cars, putting their kids in, private school. And I mean, I was just so proud. And it was because of how they took what I taught them, and it just came to fruition. They weren't afraid. They were afraid, I guess, to step out there, but they just needed some guidance. And a Sin Foundation, that's what we do. We just kind of help, underprivileged women, or disadvantaged is what I'd like to say. And the disadvantage is them not understanding or knowing how to make things happen, but taking those women and giving them the opportunity to realize the dream of entrepreneurship. So that's how all that came into play.
And as you were sharing that, what a journey that's been for you. Congratulations. The question was in my mind was for the person that says, I like what I'm hearing. It makes sense and sense. Come on, somebody. It makes sense and sense.
All
They may
right.
be wondering what's Wendy's perspective on being consistent? You know what, Shay, I like this. I get the right mindset. I get going, and then I find myself off track again. And then I try to get going again, and then I find myself off track. So the question I got when it comes to financing, measuring, managing, and getting things in order, what's your how do you remain consistent doing it day in, day out, week after week, year after year, which is how you be able to compound it to get it where it is now?
Well, I have to admit, I'm not always as consistent as I'd like to say I am, but you learn over the years. Like I said, I've been, I'm a senior citizen now, so I've learned some things the hard way. But you do, like I said, you just get in a habit of doing. You get that mindset the way it's supposed to be, then you will be, consistent. I give all my clients what I call the spending challenge. I offer it as a freebie for just, people that want to take it, a 7 day, but my clients have to do it for 30 days. And, one of my clients in particular, I always tell this story because it's so funny. He said, Wendy, I did that spending challenge and I spent $600 eating out. And I'm like, okay, he's a businessman. So I said, what'd you do? Take out some clients to lunch or dinner? He said, no, it's just me and my wife and sometimes the grandkids. And it wasn't that he couldn't afford it, but it was an aha moment for him because he said, only thing I got to show for that is a few extra pounds. I could have took that $600 and paid something or invested or something like that. So when you start changing your thinking, your habits are going to change, because every now and then I got to go back and do that spending challenge. I'm, at a point now where, I did it not too long ago, but it's more of I can't go in a regular store and pay regular price. That just is not in my DNA. I can't do, I have to practice what I preach, and I just can't do it because I can get the same stuff at my favorite thrift store consignment shop, for a quarter of the price. So, you just once you get into it, and then once you start seeing results, then you'll start, sticking with it. You'll be consistent. And when you get off track, you can see the impact of how getting off track will impact your money. So, it kind of pulls you back in to do the right thing and stay on track. But you have to monitor and modify because what may work me today may not be applicable 6 months from now. So I'll have to make some modifications to make sure that what I'm trying to achieve is still on track. So, it's a process, just like everything else, it's a process.
It's a process. I love that. And, when you're not out saving the world, teaching financial cures all over the place and helping other people. And I got a chance to connect with you recently when we were in Raleigh, North Carolina. You're looking good, by the way. I know you feel like you're under the
Thank
weather, but you're
you.
still looking good. My question is,
Thank
what do you do for fun, man? What do you do for fun these days, Wendy? Dr. Wendy?
Well, I like to travel. I do like to shop, but not at regular stores. Like I said, my daughter calls me the thrift store queen because, like I said, I can get everything I want right in my favorite thrift stores. You go to the right spots, they got the quality of products, they got the right pricing. But I like to, kind of TV binge. It just depends on, what mood I'm in. I like to do me time with just, spa day or just whatever I want to do. I'm at the stage now that hey, if whatever I want to do, it's all about me, and I'm gonna do
I know. Thanks so much. As we come down the home
it.
stretch, a two-part question. Number one, um, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days, if any, if your firm's taking on any clients? And number two, how can people best connect with you? I mean, how can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Okay, well, I want to work with clients that are serious about making a change in their finances. If people say, well, what's your niche? Is it entrepreneurs? Is it women? I want people that are serious about making a change in their financial situation. I don't care if you're a paycheck to paycheck person, I got a program for you, or if you're, a C-suite executive. If you're ready to make some changes and you're serious about doing what it takes, then that's who I want to work with. Now, I do have a TV show, Financial Cures with Dr. Wendy Labat. It is global streaming, award winning global streaming, I must add. And you can check that out at FinCures, that's FINCURES.com. There are 3 seasons, and each season has 6 episodes. The first season is about your personal finances, second season about your business finances, and the third season is about leveling up your finances. So you can go there and check out those episodes. It has my contact information. And also, you can go to the financial cures. That's the financial cures with an s.com. That's my website. And you can connect with me there. I have my free spending challenge on there. I also have information about the 6 ways to stop hemorrhaging money, the books, my book series, it's everything that you need to know about Dr. Wendy Labat and the financial cure system.
I love it. By the way, let me say thanks so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So you give us the most precious resource you have right now, which is your time. So thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. I never get tired of reminding you, because without you, we don't have a show. So I never get tired of reminding you that we appreciate you, that you're wonderful, and that no matter what's going on in your life, whether you got hit with the punch you never saw coming, or you're trying to get to that next level, I do believe that today is a fresh start for you, and I believe that your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown, host of the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things how we connect again next time. God bless and keep doing God's work. So long, Dr. Wendy. We'll see you later. Peace, everybody.
Bye.